I got offered 40 bucks and a t-shirt to work for the merchandise table for the band, and I said, well, I got in for free, I'm drinking cheap, it's a band that I love. A lot of my friends are gonna be here. What the heck, I'll just stay.
Driving down Carisset Road, I started to get a headache. Something was telling me, just go home. And I said to myself, no, I'm either going to just go for a little while, we'll have a couple of beers, we'll hang out, and then I'll go home. I just went in like normal and found a friend of ours, spoke with her, found Linda, and was with her the rest of the night.
I was actually in the atrium. They had pushed the pool tables back up against the windows, and that's where we'd set up the merchandise table, because I actually wanted to see the show. I didn't want to get stuck in the back corner of the bar. If I was going to stay, I wanted to see the show up close.
Where I was standing, there was a pole kind of like between Linda and I. So she could see partial of the stage where I could see the whole thing. And I saw one side light up and the other side lit up. So to be honest, I thought it was part of the show because they were exactly the same height, going at exactly the same time. And I said to Linda, that's not right.
I said, let's just grab this merchandise off this front table and throw it behind us, but grab the CD box. We're gonna use this to get out the stage door so no one stops us. We're gonna say, hey, we've got the band's merchandise. And in the few seconds that her and I did that, it was too late to go to the stage door. It was completely engulfed over there. The stuff was dropping from the ceiling. What my friend calls the black rain. You could just see it just falling down. And I said, we're out of time. I said, let's just get on the floor under the table, and that's what we did.
So we get down on the floor. I was holding her hand at the time. She stood up, started kicking at the windows. I could hear the bears breaking and people kicking at a window.
And I said, we're running out of time. So I told Deb to stay where she was. I'll be back. And I crawled over to the window on my left, and I stood up to try and break the glass. Wouldn't break. I was kicking literally to save my life, and it wouldn't break. Got back on the floor and just laid next to my friend and waited to die, because I knew we weren't going to get out the front door. I knew there was too many people. We could see the crowd pushing from where we were.
God, please take care of my daughter, take care of my husband. Make sure they know that everything was okay, that I didn't hurt, I didn't suffer.
Laid there on the floor and asked God, just take care of my family. And at that minute, the glass above my head that I was trying to break broke. I heard the cracking of it.
I heard the window break, I felt the fresh air come in. I felt myself get pulled out, landed on the steps. Linda pulled out, landed on top of me. I couldn't move, and my thought was, well, I didn't die in the building, but now I'm going to get trampled to death. So I'm yelling at her to get up. She physically can't get up because she's burnt, and I didn't see that. And so I grabbed her by the back of her pants, and I guess adrenaline calls, and I hoofed her to a standing position and moved her.
Kind of stood in shock in the parking lot at the craziness out there, because inside, except for the bottles exploding and the roar like the fire, it was kind of almost quiet inside. And then when we were outside, it was pandemonium. It was like literally an entirely different world. And I looked down for the first time. I actually looked, and all the skin was starting to slough off of my arms. It looked like, kind of like my elastic here. It was all rings of black that looked kind of like jelly bracelets or elastics, all just kind of hanging around the edges of my wrists. And I was like, oh my God, how did I not feel that or know that that was happening? And just stood there and waited. And then finally my husband showed up, and the look of horror on his face. I said to myself, God, I must be so much worse than I actually feel in this moment. For that look on his face, he was horrified.
I saw a lot that I probably shouldn't have seen, but in that state of mind, it doesn't register in your head what's going on. I wish I had pulled somebody out. I wish I had gone to the door and tried. But my concern was, where was Linda? Where was Julie? And where were the friends we knew? And it was just chaos in the street.
I don't have any survivor's guilt, because I think the way I got out, by getting out through that window And the fact that me getting up and kicking at that window is what let the person outside the window at the stairs, pulling people out of the door,